What if your lower body wasn't just carrying your weight, but your worries, your stress, and even your emotions? After 50, so many women begin to feel that quiet heaviness, the tired legs, the bloated belly, the stiffness deep in the hips, but few ever pause long enough to ask why. Doctors will tell you it's hormones, circulation, or posture, and while that's partly true, there's something deeper happening inside your body, something emotional, physiological, and profoundly human. Your lower body is not a burden. It's a mirror of everything you've been holding on to. Today, I want to show you a simple, overlooked movement that can release that weight, not just physically, but emotionally. It isn't an intense workout. It's not a new fad. It's a quiet practice, centuries old, and it has helped thousands of women find a new sense of lightness, calm, and connection within themselves. It's called the butterfly stretch, and despite its gentle name, its power lies in what it awakens: your circulation, your bladder health, your pelvic balance, and even your sense of emotional stability. You won't need a mat, a gym, or flexibility. All you need is a moment of stillness and the willingness to listen to your own body again. Most people ignore this movement because it looks too easy to matter. But that's exactly why it works. It's not about forcing your body to perform, it's about allowing it to breathe. When done with intention, the butterfly stretch becomes a bridge between your outer body and your inner flow, a space where blood, lymph, and emotion finally move again. And if you stay with me until the end, you'll see how this single, humble movement might become the missing ritual in your self-care, a daily reset that helps you feel lighter, calmer, and more at peace with yourself than you felt in years. Let's begin with the first truth, one that most women never hear after 50. Your inner thighs, those quiet, often forgotten muscles that run along your pelvis, are more than just tissue. They're highways, hidden channels that guide blood, oxygen, and lymphatic fluid through the deepest parts of your lower body. When those muscles tighten, as they often do after years of sitting, tension, and hormonal change, circulation slows. Blood that should flow freely begins to pool, and lymph, your body's natural cleansing system, struggles to drain. That's when you start to feel swelling, heavy legs, or tingling feet. It's not just aging, it's stagnation. The butterfly stretch reopens those channels. As you bring the soles of your feet together and gently let your knees fall outward, you're not just stretching muscles, you're releasing traffic. You're clearing the inner pathways that allow blood to return to your heart and lymph to carry away what no longer serves you. Within minutes, your tissues begin to breathe again. Oxygen moves, pressure fades, and that heaviness in your legs starts to lift. Not because you lost weight, but because your body remembered how to move fluently. But there's something even more fascinating happening here, something most doctors never explain. Your lymphatic system doesn't have a heart. It doesn't have a pump. It relies entirely on your movement, on gentle muscle contractions to keep it alive. The butterfly stretch activates those exact muscles that milk the lymph through your pelvic basin and down the legs. It's like turning on your inner filter system, flushing out toxins, inflammation, and fatigue. It's a quiet detox done without supplements or sweat, just breath and motion working together. That's why women who practice this daily often describe a lightness that feels impossible to explain, because what they're feeling isn't magic, it's biology. Their body has simply remembered how to cleanse itself. Now here's where the story deepens, and where this stretch becomes far more than physical therapy. Beneath your muscles lies a system most women never think about until it starts to cause problems: your pelvic floor. These are the subtle muscles that cradle your bladder, support your organs, and hold your posture. And over time, gravity, childbirth, and hormonal shifts start to weaken this foundation. You may notice bladder pressure, urgency, or those frustrating nighttime bathroom trips that seem to appear out of nowhere. But what few realize is that the very same butterfly movement that restores circulation also reawakens tone and alignment in your pelvic floor. When the adductor muscles of your inner thighs open and release, they stop pulling on the ligaments that tug the bladder out of position. That gentle release sends new blood flow, oxygen, and neuromuscular signals back into the region, almost like flipping a switch that's been off for years. Suddenly, the bladder lifts, the urgency softens, and the pelvic bowl, that sacred core of your stability and femininity, feels supported again. And women often describe something else they didn't expect: emotional relief. Because the pelvis doesn't just hold organs, it holds memories. For decades, this area has carried the invisible weight of what you've endured: the stress, the shame, the caregiving, the silence. When you release the muscles that surround it, you give your nervous system permission to relax too. The breath deepens, the mind quiets, and for the first time in a long time, you may find yourself sleeping through the night again, or waking up with an ease that feels unfamiliar but profoundly right. And yet, this stretch's magic goes even deeper, because what starts as a simple hip opener often becomes the missing key for back pain, balance, and posture, issues that have nothing to do with weakness and everything to do with how your body's foundation has shifted over time. The truth is, when the inner thighs tighten, they pull on the pelvis. When the pelvis tilts, the lower back compensates. That compensation becomes pain, stiffness, or fatigue that no massage ever fully resolves. The butterfly, practiced consistently, reverses that chain reaction. It restores symmetry where imbalance has been quietly building for years. The beauty of it all is that it doesn't demand anything from you, only presence. You don't have to stretch far. You don't have to push. You simply breathe, flutter, and let your body unwind layer by layer. Because deep down, your body isn't asking for performance, it's asking for permission. Permission to move, to soften, to heal. And that's what this ritual gives you. There's something your doctor probably never told you. Your body remembers everything. Every breath you've held back, every moment of tension you've swallowed, every time you said, "I'm fine," when you weren't. All of it leaves traces, not just in your mind, but in your muscles. And nowhere does that memory live more quietly or more deeply than in your pelvic region. This is the emotional core of your body. It's where safety, creativity, and intimacy are born. It's also where unspoken stress, fear, and grief settle when they have nowhere else to go. That's why this simple butterfly movement can feel unexpectedly emotional for some women. Because when you sit in this position, knees open, heart relaxed, breathing slow, you're not just stretching muscles, you're signaling to your nervous system, you are safe now. The slow rhythmic motion of the knees, the deep exhale through the nose, the soft release through the hips, all of it activates the parasympathetic system, the body's natural calm switch. And that's when something beautiful begins to happen. The tension that's been locked inside you, maybe for years, begins to dissolve, not with effort, but with grace. Women often describe it as a wave, a sudden sense of calm, a tear that comes out of nowhere, or even laughter. It's the body remembering how to let go. Because emotions, when not expressed, don't disappear. They store themselves in the tissues. This movement helps unstore them. It tells your body, you can exhale again. You can trust yourself again. That's why so many who practice this consistently notice not just better flexibility, but softer moods, clearer thoughts, and deeper sleep. It's not magic, it's biology meeting mindfulness. But let's bring this back to something very practical. Back pain, posture, stiffness, the everyday reminders that your body has weathered time. These issues often begin not in your back, but in your hips. When your hip flexors and inner thighs grow tight, they tug your pelvis forward, forcing your spine into unnatural curves. Your lower back compensates, your shoulders round, your breathing shortens, and slowly, without noticing, your body begins to collapse inward. The butterfly stretch reverses that collapse, gently, naturally. When you open your hips, you unlock your foundation. The pelvis realigns, the spine decompresses, and the chest lifts. Blood begins to circulate upward again, carrying oxygen to the brain, which is why many women feel a subtle clarity after practice, a sense of lightness that isn't just physical, but mental. The movement creates space where compression used to live. It's as if your body starts to remember its original blueprint. Tall, balanced, open. The tension in your lower back begins to melt because the source of the strain, the imbalance in your hips and thighs, has finally been addressed. This is what it means to age into strength, not to fight gravity, but to learn how to flow with it again. And the benefits extend beyond posture, because as your spine decompresses, as your ribs begin to expand with each deeper breath, your nervous system recalibrates. You start to breathe into places that have been asleep for years. Your body's energy pathways reopen, not in a mystical sense, but in a profoundly physiological one. Your diaphragm moves more freely, your organs receive more oxygen, and your brain gets the message that you are safe, stable, and supported. That's why after even a few minutes of this practice, so many women describe a strange but welcome quietness in the mind. It's the body's way of whispering, "Thank you." This is what the butterfly stretch truly is. Not an exercise, but a reset. A way to remind your spine, your breath, and your emotions that they belong to the same story. Because healing isn't something that happens outside of you. It's something your body already knows how to do, if you give it permission. Aging gracefully isn't about holding on to youth. It's about rediscovering energy. The kind of energy that doesn't shout, but hums quietly beneath the surface. The kind that keeps your skin glowing, your thoughts clear, and your steps confident. Deep inside your body, there's a center that governs that vitality, your pelvic floor. It's not just the foundation of your posture, it's the cradle of your life force. It holds your balance, your sensuality, your stability, even your creativity. But as the years pass and stress piles up, that center begins to dim. It doesn't disappear, it simply waits for you to wake it up again. And that's exactly what this movement does. The butterfly stretch reawakens the muscles, ligaments, and fascia that support your pelvic bowl. It's like turning the lights back on in a room that's been closed for years. Each gentle pulse draws blood and oxygen deep into the tissues. Each breath nourishes your organs from the inside out. Slowly, your body starts to remember what vitality feels like. That subtle warmth in your lower abdomen, that sense of groundedness and flow. You're not pushing yourself, you're reconnecting with yourself. Women who practice this consistently often report changes they can't quite explain. The bloating fades, their digestion improves, their sleep deepens, even their face seems more alive. And yes, science can explain it. Better circulation and fascia release in the pelvis improve hormonal balance, reduce inflammation, and restore your body's natural rhythm. But beyond that, there's something deeper at play. A sense of coming home to your own body after decades of putting everyone else first. Because this isn't just exercise, it's restoration. It's the moment you stop treating your body as a problem to be fixed and start treating it as a partner to be heard. That's what graceful aging truly is. It's not resistance, it's relationship, a softness with strength, a return to flow. Now, let's bring it all together into a simple daily ritual you can begin right now. Start by sitting on a firm surface, the edge of your bed, a yoga mat, or even a chair. Bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees fall gently outward. You're not forcing anything, you're inviting movement. Rest your hands on your ankles or the tops of your feet. Take a deep breath in through your nose. As you exhale, let your knees flutter gently up and down, like the wings of a butterfly. Small, rhythmic, relaxed. The motion doesn't have to be big to be powerful. Stay with it for 30 to 50 gentle pulses, breathing naturally. Focus on the sensation of warmth spreading through your hips, your thighs, your lower belly. Feel the tension melting, the blood flowing, the energy moving. When you finish, stay still for a few moments. Close your eyes. Notice how your body feels open, calm, alive. If sitting isn't comfortable, you can do the same lying on your back. Bring your feet together, let your knees drop to the sides, and rest. Gravity will do the work for you. You don't need to stretch far, you just need to breathe. That's the secret. Because it's not about how far you go, it's about how deeply you listen. For most women, a minute or two a day is enough. Done with care, this tiny practice becomes a daily signal to your body, a reminder that healing doesn't always look loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's as simple as returning to the places you've ignored and saying, "I'm here now.